Hey, it's Clay Trader, and this will be a video chart on XHB, which is a spider that tracks the home builder sector. If you want to know why I would even care about the home builder sector, just go back and watch some of my other videos I did on it. Do a big explanation of it. But basically, in a nutshell, I'm a firm believer that what caused this whole mess was the housing sector, and what's going to need to get us out of the mess is the housing sector. So that's why I've been following this one because it's a great indicator of what's going on within the housing sector. Because obviously the home builders do well when the housing market's doing well, and they suffer in a bad housing market. So that's why I track this one. I've done, like I said, quite a few of these in the past, but I want to do this one more from a short-term view and kind of go over a few things that I'd like to see happen, both in a bullish sense and then kind of either direction, whether it keeps going up or pulls back. I want to go over the two things that I'm looking at. Nothing groundbreaking, but at the same time, things that I think are significant for the chart and ultimately for the overall market. The other thing to note is it is 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. So if you see this price over here move, you're not seeing things. The market's still open, but I'm not really concerned about today. More just the overall pattern. So it doesn't really matter how this day closes. That'll make more sense as I go over what I'm talking about. So the first thing I want to point out is just simply some highs. So we had a high up here, and then you can see the blue line, but I took it from right there. Then we had another high right here, and right now the question is, where is this high going to be during this move? Clearly we're in a nice uptrend move here, but where is it going to finally peak out at before it turns back? What I would ideally like to see, and what would be best case scenario, is a high that breaks above this line. Better yet would be a few closes, but the key thing here is we want to put in a new high. After this high over here, the price had a nice move here, but you can clearly see that it wasn't able to even really come close to putting in a high like it did up there. This one we are coming closer, but at the same time, let's say it peaks out right here and then begins to pull back. This would be yet another lower high, and obviously with highs that are lower than their previous ones, that is just simply a downtrend. So that's kind of area number one that I'm really curious at, is what's going to happen with the housing sector, home builders, in the very immediate term future. Are we going to be able to go up and put in a new high, or are we going to see a pullback that goes back down? Now on that note, let's say we peak out here and put in a lower high. Yes, that wouldn't be the greatest thing in the world. And actually, let me change these to red real quick since they are resistances also. But like I was saying, let's say we do peak right here and head back down. Is that the end of the world? No, there's still a good chance of things being okay. But what that'll depend on is simply looking at this low here. You can see that this area has a nice little history of acting as support. Right here it was a low, and then you can see it pulled back down here, bounced right off of there. And what I would like to see is, if this begins to pull back here and that puts in the high, if we can at least maintain above this level here, that would be great, and that would be perfect for the short term. Why would that be? Well, let's say we come down here and put in a low right at this circle here. We put in a low right there. That would then give us the ability to do this for the short term. Yes, it would be a short term move, but all big moves have to start in the short term anyways. But like I said, let's say we put in a low right there above this level. That would then give us the ability to start to draw an uptrend line. And that's just what we want to see right now in the short term. We want to start to see an uptrend. Currently, it keeps putting in lower lows. That's not what we want to see. Lower lows and then having lower highs each time, that's just a downtrend any way you slice it. But if we can at least put in a higher high on any sort of pullback, that would be the beginning of what is hopefully a little pattern that's going to ultimately push us through this resistance level and then this one up here. And if that's happening, that means the housing market's doing well, which I think will ultimately mean the overall market's going to continue to boom and do well too. But if we keep putting in lower highs here, this is eventually going to catch up to the market, because if the housing sector keeps going down and overall markets keep going up, that's a huge negative divergence with what is really a key component to the overall economy. So the point being, it'll catch up eventually. I don't know when, but it will if this thing keeps going in a downtrend. That's why it's so important right now to hopefully be able to start to get this in a little miniature uptrend, if anything, or better yet, just have this keep going and bust through this high here, and then we'll be all set because this, we will have put in a higher high. So, I don't know if that'll happen with only 2 more days left this week, but the point being, next week will be very telling in terms of, or I should say the next couple of weeks, and what's going to really happen here. So, just real quick, if we don't put in a new high here and we start to pull back, we don't want to see any drops below this blue line here, because by doing so, that'll be able to, or by not doing so, that'll be able to give us the opportunity to draw an uptrend line and start to be able to, hopefully chug upwards. So if you do have any other questions on the chart, please shoot me a message. I'd also encourage you to check out bullmarketnewsletter.net. If you go there and sign up for the newsletter, you'll be sent a free ebook, which has been getting very good reviews. And with your subscription, you'll get chart setups, trade ideas, educational pieces, all sorts of things, from big boards all the way down to penny stocks. So there's a good variety, something there for everybody. We've been making some good money together, and it's all free, no strings attached, so it's definitely worth at least checking out. One more time, this was the XHB, which tracks the home builders. Thanks for listening.